Hey guys, today we're back with another update review. And today I just wanted to tell everybody about my newest updates with Colt and what's going on with my Python. As you all know, the last time I actually had contact with Colt was on Friday, and today is now Tuesday, and this is pretty much the last time I've actually got to physically talk to a Colt representative. I've talked to a few people that have somewhat connections with Colt, but we won't get into that. But from what the Colt representative said today that I talked to, and this is Tuesday 1/14, he actually called me yesterday, which I'll tell you the full story. He actually called me yesterday about 12:30, but I was away from my phone, and by the time I actually got back to my phone, it was pretty much about around 5:30 or 6, somewhere around there, and I could not get back up with him in time before he left the office. So today, I called him about around that same time, maybe I think like it's closer to 10, and I actually got up with him, and pretty much what we talked about was everything that was going on with my Colt, everything that's going on with Hickok's Colt, because as you can see in the video, his does the exact same thing that mine does, pretty much. But he went into a little bit further because he actually had cocked it, and it caught me by surprise. And being honest with you guys, I'm more of a automatic man than a revolver man, which I've had tons and tons and tons of revolvers, and probably I'd say close to 40 videos on revolvers on my channel, if not more. But it's just I'm not as familiar with the inner workings of a revolver, especially this new Colt, as I am, say, a Glock or a 1911 or just different other types of handguns. And whenever this gun caught me off guard, I really didn't know exactly what was going on or the inner workings of it, which I can take apart a Smith & Wesson pistol and put it all back together. But now I've never messed with a Python. I've never messed with any of these new Pythons or any of the new Cobras or inner workings of them. So I had no clue what was going on. And yes, I've got a lot of flack in the video over actually pulling the trigger again after the bullet goes click. I probably shouldn't have, after the gun goes click on a bullet having a light primer strike, pretty much. And yes, I know that you shouldn't do that. And if a bullet goes off while the cylinder is not lined up with the barrel, you're going to have an explosion. You're going to have shrapnel come back on you, possibly the gun blow up in your hand. Just a lot of bad stuff. So even very well possibly death in some scenarios. And I thank God that it didn't go off in my hand, and I'm happy about that. But I just it kind of there for a while, I guess you would call it. I went into the black because I was not familiarized with revolvers as much as I should be. Even though I've had tons and tons of them, I ain't up to date, I guess, on my training with a revolver is the only way I could really put it. Even though I know, you're not supposed to do that, I just kind of, just kept going, which I shouldn't have, but I did. But, no harm, no foul play or anything like that. So, getting back to what all happened anyway. He was pretty much saying that the guns are put, even though they're put together with machines and all that, or like, the parts are made, the final process is still hand-fitted. And that's what some people are really kind of missing, because some people's put out videos saying the new Pythons are not all hand-fitted, and they're not all hand-fitted. But, not all the pieces are hand-fitted in, but some of the pieces, like the actual, I think he said the trigger mechanisms and a few other pieces are actually hand-fitted in whenever they go in. So there still is some type of human error. And he put it like this right here, and this was probably the better way I've heard it, is that you can give 3 people a pencil, and all 3 people will hold that pencil a different way. You can give 3 people a file, and they'll all 3 file a different way. Meaning that, the gun that I had and the gun that Hickok45 had very well could have had a file mark in it that could have done that. And, that's very well plausible that could have happened. And then it's just something minor. But, and another thing too, I talked to some other people online that knows the inner workings of these new pythons a little bit better than I do myself. And they said that they think that it's something to do with the linear leaf system inside of it, meaning like the actual spring system, that if you don't have a strong enough springs, not only would it cause light primer strikes, but it will also cause, the cylinder not to rotate properly. So as you can see, I was having both of them. So just them diagnosing it from my video and what they know, that's what they think. But now the Colt representative thinks that it's got something to do with the inner workings. But he said that, there's people at the Colt place that are dying to get their hands on my gun. They was actually looking for Hickok45’s gun. And I think he said something like they haven't made any, I guess it would be progress in finding it. Like, I think they said something like they haven't been able to actually receive it yet from Buds, or it's going from Hickok to Buds, or it might still be in his possession. It's not really sure, but mine will be the first one that they have got back to work on and see what all has going on with it. That being said, he even went into a little bit more deeper information that I can give you all. He said that out of all the pythons that have been sent back, mine and Hickok's is the only ones known right now that are that have had this problem. That being said, the ones that have been sent back are mainly issues with the finishing, such as the crown and everything. And that's pretty much the only ones that's been sent back that's had any kind of malfunctioning problems was mine and Hickok's. So, which, I feel like he was telling me the truth. He seemed like a pretty down-to-earth guy, and I appreciate, him talking to me and everything. But, it is what it is. You kind of look at it from this scenario. If one Ford F-150, if the spark plug starts going out on it at 80,000 miles, then more than likely you can expect all of them to make it either a little bit before or a little bit after that. The only thing that's putting a little bit more into it with this is that if it is one of the ham-fitted parts and it is human error, then hopefully that shows that, not all the pythons are tainted, I guess you could say, with some bad piece or something like that, and that it's all human error, which would be better on Colt's part than if it was a malfunctioning that had to do with actual type of tool that was put into it or type of piece that was put into it, my bad. And if you want to look at it from that perspective, it will be a lot easier to fix these, since all they'd have to do is go in and file some, or go in and replace a spring even. But the point I'm getting at is that if it is not human error and there is something wrong with the spring system or the leaf system that they put in it, or maybe even another part, some people online is also speculating that it could be one of the MIM parts inside that are doing that, then more than likely all current pythons that they have put out and that are on the shelves or going to distributors or whatever else are tainted, and sooner or later the same thing will happen. Like I said about like a vehicle, a certain part might go out on it around 50,000 miles or 60,000 miles. Some might make it to 100,000 and never do it, and some might make it to 20,000 and never do it. That being said, it's going to happen regardless. If sometime or another that piece is going to go out. And like I said, I feel like he's telling me the truth, and I really do sincerely mean that. And if he is, then and he thinks that it is a actual mechanism that has went bad from an actual human error, then that would be the best for Colt, and that would be the best for everybody. And that's, I can understand that. Humans make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I 100% fully understand that. But if it is a actual piece error, then you're looking at some major recalls. And I mean major recalls, because if you look at it, I think Hickok said his serial number was a little bit under 3,000 or maybe over 3,000. I've been talking to so many people. I've probably got more comments on these last few videos than a bunch I've had in a very long time, and it's even hard to try and keep up with comment and messaging back for everybody, because I like to at least try and give everybody at least one message back. But it's just, getting back to the serial numbers, I can't really remember which one is which, but he had one that's around 3,000, and mine is 1, 2, or 1283. So that's a pretty decent far piece apart. So if mine does it and his doesn't, and it is non-human error, then you're looking at all them pythons up to his point, and probably after, it's going to be have to recalled or sent in for Colt to fix. Like I said, though, there's going to be a lot of people put them up and not even barely shoot them at all, and it might happen a year down the road or whenever they actually fire enough through it for it to actually happen. But as you can see with mine, I think mine actually happened around 20 to 30 rounds in, and I didn't count how many Hickok had shot, but he had 100% shot more rounds than I did, and his cylinder quit turning a little bit further along the way than mine did. So, it's an interesting thing for sure. It really is to see what's going on with these pythons, and especially the finishing issues they had on them with the quality control heading out the door and all that. And also, one quick piece, if y'all didn't look at my video earlier about the imperfections with my python, I actually brought that up to him, and he said, that we'll look at them and make sure that I document exactly where they're at, just in case if they don't see them right off the bat and all that. But, if he looks at how he put it, and I don't know, it kind of didn't set right with me, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I can understand where he's coming from. But anyway, he stated it like, if it's an obvious flaw and something that we say, hey, this needs to be fixed, we're going to fix it. We're not going to be like, hey, this is a flaw, but, we don't want to fix it, so we're going to say it's acceptable. That being said, he pretty much come out and said that, if it is bad enough, we will fix it. But if it's not too bad, then we probably won't fix it. That's how I received it. And the thing about it that kind of makes me mad with that, just being honest with you guys, is that, I paid $1,500 for this gun. I actually paid $1,331, but, approximately $1,500 for this gun. And, he said something like that, and that kind of didn't fit right with me. And kind of made me a little mad because, we're not talking about a $600 686. We're not talking about a $400 Taurus. We're talking about a $1,500 revolver, Colt Python. And, didn't fit right with me. So we'll see what Colt does. Hopefully they'll fix every one of them that I listed. I listed every single one of them I did in the video, such as the actual, the one on the right beneath the cylinder. I said about that one. The one on the end of the muzzle. The one on the right-hand side where the lines are straight up and down. And the one that runs right above the serial number that comes around the back of the cylinder and wraps around, looks like two parallel lines. And the one that is on the grip. And we'll see which ones they try to fix and which ones they don't, if they do at all. And we will see how that goes. But overall, I'm hoping that is the truth for Colt's case. And, I hope everything comes back perfect and right. But, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to ever trust this gun again or shoot enough through it to where I can feel comfortable with saying this gun's fixed, there's nothing wrong with it at all and all that. That being said, 2 or 3 years from now, whenever they finally have got everything lined out, I might buy another one and probably use that as the actual, trusting gun, and maybe sell this one because it's a first run production or whatever. If anybody would even want one after what all I've went through with it, I might do that and actually have a Python that I would keep and trust and everything. Or this one right here might come back from factory and be the best one that's been built since the originals. So we'll see. This is going to be a double-edged sword for Colt, but I'm going to give him the chance and everything. But it's going to take a lot of shooting, a lot of money, and everything else to put into this gun before I can fully 100% trust it with my life. If I ever needed it, it would go bang every time I pull the trigger. So, guys, I appreciate y'all viewing. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in space below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I try to cover everything he said, and we talked for about 30 minutes, so it's hard to remember exactly everything that he said, and it's currently 5:41. So, it's I might have forgot a few things, but I believe I've covered about everything that he said, hopefully anyway. But like I said, thank y'all for viewing. Like and subscribe for more gun reviews and more Python updates on the way. And I will see you all in the next video.